This morning we have listened to Professor Xiangen about the concept of the education, and now he kindly come and to elaborate and give it more detail and more example about the topic. So the title of topic of this afternoon is Educators in the Loop, Designing Inclusive, Impactful Futures with AI. So please join me to give Professor Xiangen a warm welcome.
Okay, I'm going to spend additional time to elaborate some of the stuff that I was talking about. I did not have enough time to go through. One thing that I do want to ask: how many of you are students? And how many of you are teachers or professors? Okay, so I'm going to try to explain a few things that I tried to demonstrate earlier. One of the things that I really talk about, I'm going to try to go back. So this is something that, well, by the way, you scan this. If you have questions, this is my Padlet. You scan this. If you have a question, you can ask. Okay, so while you're scanning, let me tell you a few. You probably remember when I was talking about AI, I called AI the powerful, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate how powerful the AI is in a few minutes. So one thing that I do want to make sure that the message is crossed is that everything that I'm about to show you, first, it's AI. Second, it's I made it. So I'm 64 years old. If I can make this like this, and then everybody else can, okay? Because it's so powerful, as I mentioned, you know, I'm my background, and on one hand, I'm going to say how powerful it is. The other one is how dangerous it is. The third thing is, how can we use it? If we do not know how powerful it is, we probably do not know how dangerous it is, and we probably do not know how to use it. Okay? So here's something that I want to show you. First, doesn't matter you're a teacher or a student. Okay? As soon as we are in the AI, we have to basically rethink the learning and assessment. Okay? So here I say this is assessment, and then, so first it's about learning. Okay? We actually, before we have, you know, we learn, but we not necessarily separate them because we most of the time we're teacher teaching it. Okay? Right now, when we use AI, we really want to know what AI going to teach and what human going to teach. What knowledge that we let AI teach and what knowledge we need human need to teach. So I separate those learning in three different parts. One is foundational learning, basic concepts. The second kind of learning is transformative learning, that you want to learn from human. Because humans have a wealth of knowledge and experience able to teach more than computer can do, at least right now. The third, it's social, emotional learning, where you learn from each other. Okay? What I'm going to show you, most of the foundational learning. Okay? Now, is an AI actually can teach transformative learning or social? Probably AI can. It's the question whether we allow, whether human allow. For example, AI probably can teach how to be a human. They can, they have knowledge. But don't you think those kind of knowledge you need a human to teach you instead of a machine? Okay? And AI probably going to teach you how to cope with issues, your emotional issues. AI probably can. Actually, AI right now is very, very convincing, very, very persuasive. But any one of us have those kind of issues, don't you think you need to have a human to really guide you instead of machines? Okay? So in other words, when we started exploring AI AI in education, you really need to have a very clear idea what you need AI to do to you. Okay? So that's something that's learning, and also for assessing, formative assessment, summative assessment, and growth assessment. All those different things. Okay? So now, remember this picture? Remember this picture? From now on, we're 2 years into the 3 years, 2 years plus some month into the AI. AI been there for a while, but really started kicking in is actually the November of 2022. Okay. The moment that we have those, you've probably seen a lot of news, a lot of universities push back, so on and so forth. Okay, what the primarily people worry about, it's actually how to make AI work for you. Is AI empower you, or AI give you a shortcut, actually prevent or make you lazy? So that's very, very important. For everybody that you use AI, you want to make sure don't be addicted to it, so it's like a drug. Okay, so in other words, you do not want this one, you do not want this to happen. This one here is supposed to be this way, I think. All right, that's okay. You do not want this to happen, okay? So now, the next thing I want to do is understand AI, and then remember this picture I gave you, we actually have multiple ways of working with AI, okay? Again, it's, I want to tell you this because you know that most recently there was MIT studies that people getting dumber because they were using it in the wrong way, okay? You do not want it to happen. Doesn't matter if it's you or as a user or your loved ones. So you always want to make sure. Now, in order to do that, how many of you have using ChatGPT? How many of you? Do you have your own account, like a pro? Okay. Here's this lesson number 1 that I want you to make sure that you do. So here's what I set up to my ChatGPT, okay? ChatGPT is almost like a Google, but much, much more powerful than Google. Doesn't matter ChatGPT or Anthropic or others, right? We kind of addicted to it and say, we ask whatever question you want to ask, okay? What I want you to do, or actually I suggest you to do, put this one, at least you can have your own version. This is my version. I said, you ChatGPT, don't ever answer my stupid question. Okay? If I ask you a question, if the question is stupid, don't answer. If it's not a stupid question, even the smart question, you ask me, do I have initial ideas? If I do not have any initial ideas, even if they tell me wrong, how can I know? So in other words, if I ask you a question, and if I do not have an answer or initial thoughts about this answer, don't answer me. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to get lazy and lazy. You're asking, for example, how can I get on the moon? Whatever answer he give you, how can you tell it's right or wrong? Because you don't have an idea. Okay? And also, you want to tell AI who you are and what is your basic criteria, like level. If you say, I'm a learning scientist, you answer me, I want to have those, the level. Don't give me the answer that, just don't assume that I'm stupid. Don't give me the answer that, doesn't make, too common. Make me think, okay? Specifically, if you do not like AI to tell you something, you can say it. For example, I hate the word delve. Everybody probably knows that, the use of a specific word goes like that high. I don't like that word, okay? You can customize yours. It's like your own agent, okay? So that's what. So now, I'm going to try to follow a few other things that I did. As you know that I've been, using this one for a while. First, I want this one here. This Socratic, the older version. I'll call the older version because it is old. Okay, it's about a year old. Okay, so here's a basically interface. Very old and very, very straightforward. Okay, so here's an idea. Remember, I said don't make it as a shortcut instead of as a reasoning partner. Just imagine that you're a teacher, okay? So you want to give well, let's assume that you are a student, okay? Don't assume you're a teacher. So let's get in like a student, okay? And also this one, when I was, let me first see. This is when you actually can select any language. So now you say how powerful it is. For example, I'm going to select, I'm from Asia, and I am, Eastern Asia, and then I can select. Oh, this is gonna load. So let me do this one here, and I'm going to load. And then here, if I want to make this one as so this is Thai, right? So now the entire system changing to Thai. Okay. So in other words, now you can see this one, the language, about 150 languages, okay? Anything that you want to learn, you just specify your region, sub-region, and your country, okay? And after that, it's actually using your language, okay? And you can ask any questions, okay? For example, if we go over here, if I click here, and then it's actually changing the language. See, now this is all the changing the language. You can ask any question. I cannot rate Thai, so I'm going to switch back to English. So this is what you do. Okay, so for example, select here. You have all the buttons. I'm going to use English buttons. Any language is going to do the same. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and then refresh this one using English. Okay, so for example, if I specify as myself as a learner. Okay, anybody ask a question, anybody say what tell me what you want to know. Okay, what is your major? What is your major? What do you want to know? Yeah, yeah. Educational technology. So if I do this. Okay, I'm an educational student, want to learn theories of learning, okay? Okay, so now this is basically you typed, I'm an educational technology student, want to learn theories of learning, okay? So now it's going to basically going to build a learning environment for you. Okay? So first one is unlock the mind, cognitive theory explained. Second one is, so there are different icons. The second one is building knowledge, a constructive workshop. So every single one, there are different pedagogies. So let's go to the first one. When you go to the first one, it's actually built a learning environment for you. Now, this is called the Socratic playground for learning. Remember, Socratic is actually never keep. Remember, this system avoid of giving you answers, only ask you question and then let you answer and then give you hints. So now you can see here is the AI created cognitive quest. So make a very attractive kind of tagline. And here's the description. You embark on a journey through the fascinating world of cognitive learning. See, remember I was talking about this? And then you see, you say start. And then here, there's a few. Those are actually relevant concept to cognitive learning. So now you can say, for example, you have a memory, okay? And you have metacognition and the constructive, and all those terms, right? So now if you can see here, so now when you go here, you say, okay, hey, now let's go to memory. I will teach you about memory using 5 different scenarios. So when you go in, and the first one is actually explain what memory is. Okay? Give you almost like a very well constructed set of knowledge about what memory is and what the relevant concepts and so on and so forth. Okay? Now if you go into each, so now let's do this. First, let's set up ourselves, who we are. So for example, if I say, I am from, I will do this. I'm from Thailand. So I say, I'm from Thailand. Okay, as soon as you say you're from Thailand, it actually says which city you're in. Bangkok. See here, remember, just Bangkok. So let's do this. And then it's going to say what the university. So now you can see we have the university. With this university? Which one? Which one? First one. Okay. So now let's go forward there. So now this one can also going to ask you what you want to eat, what you want to read. And after that, every concept explained, tailored to who you are. Okay? So now let's just exit. So now let's go to this one here. Go to this learning. So now what this one here, it's actually give you a scenario. Okay? So now you can see, I'm going to make it this bigger. In a virtual classroom setting of Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok, students engage with, see now, this example tailored to you. Okay? And then you need to answer this question. You need to answer. You need to answer using words. Okay? Now, this is learning, for example. Now you can see this one. After you say, oh, I'm an educational technology student, I want to learn new theory. So now you talk about memory. So this gives you an example of the memory to ask you to answer. And then if you say, I have no idea how to answer. At first, I don't have any idea how to answer. And this one would be help here. If you click here, this one says exactly, in order to answer this question, what are expected answers that you need to give in, and what the misconceptions, the possible misconception you want to avoid. Okay? And then you answer. Now, so this part is called answer questions. Okay? Then you say, well, what happened, I want to have answers, okay? Now, if you click here, this one actually says, okay, let's change in answering questions into question the answers, okay? So now you can see this one actually started to generate possible answers from students. So this is a bunch of questions that real student would answer this question. Okay, if you say, I think the first or second, this is probably my answer. If you click here, imagine the system say, okay, if you answered that, that's not necessarily a good answer, but the system is going to evaluate you. So now, this was the answer, and this is the hint question. Ask you another question, but they actually evaluate your answers. This one actually evaluated your answers against expectation and then the possible misconceptions. Okay? So the idea, the pedagogy behind, we actually called expectation, misconception, tailored dialogue. Okay? It's actually mimic the way that we converse. For example, if I ask Thomas a question, I actually have some answers in my mind because that will check against whether are you answering my question or actually completely misunderstand. Okay? If you're answering my question, at least I know that you pay attention to my question. If you answer differently, I can say whether you misunderstand or guessing. Okay? So that's actually, this is really the way we communicate. And in the pedagogy, in the tutoring pedagogy, that is called expectation, misconception, tailored dialogue. Only that way we can converse. So for example, if a teacher asks you a question, most of the time, teacher will have an answer in mind and also have a typical misconceptions in mind. Okay? Now, that's how this tutoring is built. Okay? So that's the first mode. Any questions? No. You can ask questions because now you can see from this part goes this one. It's almost you can just ask any questions. So this is actually the question, and also you can do other things. For example, let's go to this one here. Okay. Well, this one says, okay, you have this question. Let AI organize a team that will work with you. Okay. This is actually a team. So this is the team. So exactly same kind of style. But if you go into each one of them, for example, go to one of them. So the logo says it's a team. So here it's like the following. You say, well, just imagine say, I want to learn this one. I'm bored. I do not want you to just simply answer a question. How about you organize a group of people that are working with me? Okay, so that's a team-based kind of learning here. So now you can go in here. So for example, this is also like this. So now you click here, and then now you say, well, I prepared 10 different discussions, give you 10 different scenarios. You can have like a structured group discussion. You can have a debate. You can have a critical thinking. You have all those. You can role play. So if you click any one of them, which one? Which one? The first one, second one? Second one, okay, debate. Okay, so now this defines the debate, and then you say, well, since I'm going to be in the group, what kind of role you want to play? So here, if you say, here's a role you want to play observer, you want to play a proponent or opponent or moderator. So for example, you can click any of the roles, and then usually when you do not know, you say, I'm an observer. So if you select, it's actually going to construct a debate team for you. Okay, you're going to play that role. And then now, see, this is give you a scenario, so on and so forth. If you say this, you say, okay, let's start. It's actually using AI to play other role, and you are observer. So now you can see Alex, Maya, Raji, and Laura, and Sam. Those, each one of them are their roles. They actually discuss with you, okay? And you can discuss with them. Every one of them are agent. They keep their own roles. Okay? So now you can see, remember I say AI the powerful. And also I remember say they can play smart, play dumb, play innocent. They can do all those things. All you need to do, you make them to play the role that actually help you to understand. And then this entire group for one purpose and only one purpose only, it's for you to learn, okay? So for example, if you say, here, this one here is like, I do not know how to ask the first question, and this one also give you a list of questions you would ask. So for example, you say, hey, if you ask this question, for example, so if I this question, right? So let's do this. If you ask this, if this is the question you ask, so now everybody going to respond to your question. And also, you can evaluate yourself. You say, well, am I write the right question? So for example, if you click here, this is going to say, what is your observer? Is your role awareness? Is your writing, your contributing relevance to the discussion, so on and so forth. And also you can evaluate everybody else. Okay? So that's one of the mode. The other mode is, for example, if you say, you know what, I'm tired, I just want to play game. So here it's actually automatically create a game, like a popular game, Jeopardy game or Who Wants to Be Millionaire game. Okay? So if you're a student, you can do anything like this. Is actually play a game. So for example, if I do this one here, this one actually give you a game. But in the meantime, I'm going to say this one. So now you can see there are 10 different pedagogy. You actually can. There is another one called the teachable agent. Basically, I want AI to play dumb and wait for you to teach AI. Okay? And then there is a pedagogy there. For example, the instruction is say, okay, you give you a scenario, okay? You exhibit a typical misconception, and then let learner to detect the error. If the learner cannot detect the error, obviously, you make this mistake even more obvious until the learner detected the errors. Okay? So those are the, and also if you look at the other one here, so if you go to as a teacher, if it's a teacher, okay, then say for example tomorrow I want to teach one thing. I want to teach so for now I'm gonna log in as myself. Then I actually can as a teacher I will show you. Okay, so here. Okay, so I'm logged in, right? So now your teacher, for example, if you say English, this one gives you all the fields. Okay, before AI, when I say, oh, I have 5 courses of AI or 7 courses of AI. Right now, what's the difference? You just type anything. Any of you have the field that is not listed over here? Anyone, it's not listed over here? Any weird field? Something that not everybody can easily rename. What field? Anybody give me an idea? Something that's not here. I only listed 12 over here. Okay? Business and admission, that's the academic discipline. And then what else? Let me see. How about history? How about history there? History is not there, right? So let's put a history here. Okay, let's put a history. So as soon as you put history, this one actually gives you all the subfield of history. Okay? So let's talk about history of Thailand. How about that? Okay? Make it a subfield for whatever. Okay, so let's do that. So now, history of Thailand. So now, learning game is understand, well, it's too close. History significance of what is that? DoERC period of Thailand. So now you can see everything goes with whatever you specified. Okay? So now if you select any one of those, any one of those things, let's just select learning context. Okay, let's just, any preference? Let me just select any one of those. Okay? So your college, let's consider your college students and learning, environment and online. Let's any one of those online discussions, and let's starting with a targeted concept. History about the art at that time. Okay, yeah. How about the Buddhism influence? So that's a concept. Okay. So now see what I have. You have 10 different ways to explore this. Okay? So now, I am going to go first, I'm going to say, I'm going to test the knowledge. I'm going to go over here, test the knowledge. So this one automatically generate adaptive testing for that specific knowledge over there. So now, it's actually, so here, remember we just did this one. This is relevant to there, okay? So now, let's go in, and now you can see all those are, for example, influence and art. So we can do this one here by, basically, let's let it, do. So now I'm going to do this start. So now, if I see here, this is actually give you almost some kind of. So let me go here, and I'm going to do this one here. Okay. Well, actually. So now let's see, go to here. It's actually talk about the content. Doesn't matter you talk about the learning education or it doesn't really matter, okay? History, dig into specific field, very narrow defined like this, okay? And now, if you say, I want to test the knowledge about this, this one here, you go here, it's actually give you that assessment. It can be a traditional, any assessment, like, just multiple choice questions. So now you can see here, this is the question, okay? Remember, when I started, I said we're in Bangkok, so this one here relevant to the Bangkok, say in the vibrant city of Bangkok, nestled with the heart of talent, students from this university are embarking on a journey to explore this art. See, very, very relevant. And now, it first asks, do you know how much you know about this? This gives you a feel of knowing kind of judgment. And after you do this one, give you the confidence of this selection and also whatever confidence you have. So now, let's see what happened. So now this one actually evaluates you. So not only evaluate your choices, and also evaluate your metacognitive activities. Okay, so now it's actually coming back with the feedback. So now you get a negative one because either your choice is not right, or you're right the choice, but your right reason is wrong, or your confidence is not high. Okay? So now you can see, give you this kind of feedback. It's all AI. Okay? So now let's do the following. So let's go do another one here. So let's go to the. I'm gonna do a self-reflection. My self-reflection here. I'm gonna just show you. Okay. So I'm gonna start. So in other words, I'm learning this one, and let's assume that I'm learning, and then I will, after this, I will save this one. For example, if I, go to start. So now I'm, see here, it's, going there. And then after this, I actually can save. I bookmark this. I bookmark. Okay, so in other words, remember I logged in. If I bookmark, I actually can retrieve my experience. So here's my bookmark. I'm gonna go check, and I go in. So since I bookmark, this is mine. Okay, so when I go in, I can do the following. I actually can find the relationship of those concepts. I can write the relationship of those concepts. They're building one of the other. So I have to have a whole picture of what the concepts are. Okay? So they're the relations. You can mouse over. They actually give you the relations about those things. So they'll do that. And also, since I'm logged in, I say, you know what? This is specifically, trade routes is very interesting. I just click here. I actually make the trade routes as among the other center. I can expand the concept map like that way. Okay? And also, if I'm a teacher, I can do the following. I go here. So this is 5 of them. I say, if I'm a teacher, okay, the entire class, you do this. So you scan. You do on your phone, and I will see how you do. Okay? And also the evaluation of this system is also different. Evaluation is different from traditional way of evaluating. This is model-free evaluating of those. You can scan, but what you really have is going to be you're basically interacting with those. And then if you want to user to keep track of you type a meaningful 11 digits. Otherwise, just anonymous. Okay. So now let's do this. I am going to go to one of them. I'm just interacting with one that I will show you, okay? So now you can see almost like you have the AI that behind you, it's just so powerful. Remember, 137 IQ, and I have a team behind that, and then all the purpose it's for you to learn, but it's not answering your question. It's actually organize a learning environment for you or for your teacher, for your student. Okay? So now, let's go through this one. I am going to answer. I'm going to make this one here. I'm going to just click on this one because I do not know this one. I'm going to do this. So I am going to make a few choices. So this one I'm going to come back with a few answers. So I'm answer one. I'm just answer one here. Okay. I'm going to give 2 answers or 3 answers. And then I'm going to ask the system, say, how am I doing? Okay. So now this is the first answer. And he actually gave me a lot of feedback. And then I am answer this one here. I'm also imagining that I'm just answer this one here, and then they give me the second answer. I am going to do this one here. I'm going to give 3 answers. And then I'm going to go back to my learning, and then ask the system, say, how am I doing? Okay, so let's do that. Then I will have a couple of other things to show you. Okay, so now this is the second answer. So I'm gonna do 3 answers. Okay. So this is the third answer. It's going to come back with a third answer. So I'm gonna have 3 answers here. Okay. Just imagine that I'm right now I'm answering I'm a student. So remember, if this back is a mighty powerful AI, they should understand what answer I give. Okay, they should have an idea how good I am. Okay, traditionally, have a test, but teacher give the student a test. It's because we cannot keep track of the details. Okay, so now I have the 3 answers, right? So now let's do the following. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to this link again. So I'm going to go back to this link. Where is it? Where this one here? Here. So I'm going to refresh. So now you can see I have your learning journey because I logged in. So over here, I actually have the detail, and then I can check my history. This is my answer. Okay, this is my answer. Imagine I've been interacting with this one for 5 minutes or 5 hours. Doesn't really matter. Okay? Now, if I ask AI, say, hey, how am I doing? So if I say evaluate, okay, the AI going to go through the transcripts of what I have, and then commenting on my learning in a way, it's still running, in a way that you have never seen it before. Okay? So this is still running. It's take a while. So now you can see this AI is actually commenting on almost excruciating level of details of how did you do. For example, the first one, summary of interaction, and the second one would be engagement, how engaged you are, and also counting processing variables, learning progressions, behavior variables, meta-counting variables, and your overall performance. And then with every single one of them, all the details. Okay? So That's what you can do with AI. This is the older version. The newer version is much better. So I'm going to just, I have 5 minutes. I'm going to show a few of the newer versions. So the second one is this one is newer version. This one is a little, it's much better. I just made it, So for example, this one is actually a little bit different. So for example, this one here, you have a lot of different things. You actually have scenarios, okay? If you actually specify what you want to learn, it's automatically create scenarios. Automatically create scenarios, and also create games, creating pedagogy, and the assessment and the learning. So in other words, all those things, they actually, this one, for example, you can go in, and there's 10 different scenarios, okay? And then earlier I was talking about somebody using the medical kind of scenario. You can do a medical simulation. It actually does very well. It says, okay, Johnson, 45 years old with diabetes, go to the hospital and complain about body pain or something like that. And then it actually asks you to diagnose and also interact, okay? And then you have games as well. You have all those. I have 7 games, and I have pedagogy. For example, if you go here, I have 7 pedagogies. Okay, for example, pitfall finder is actually find the errors, the pitfall finder, and also this fail forward. This is actually production failure. Those are the pedagogy that we, as a learning scientist, we studied and how effective it is for people to help people to learn. Okay. So that is the newer version here, and also there was this is actually another one. It's called almost in terms of the powerfulness, they all exactly the same level. Like I showed you, that's the older version, but with a detailed. But in terms of the details that the AI can do is the same. For example, here it's called. AI supported with knowledge. You can do anything. For example, if you go in, if I'm going to go in with as a demo learner, okay, you look in, and then say, so for example, if I go to here, right? So this one, you go in, and then this one give you a scenario, give you more elaborate learning environment. So basically, it's creating the knowledge that you would learn based on what you specify. Just like you said, our learning technology, student, I want to learn. This one actually create detailed information for you. So now you can see task analysis for this specific task, what task you need to be involved to learn, and then content analysis. Content analysis here is actually specify what content, and also there are other things. You have a learning type. Remember I was talking about the 3 different types, the foundational learning and the transformative learning and the social emotional learning, flipped classroom. If you want to teach, what would you do before class, during class, and after class? And also self-regulated learnings and advanced assessment. In the content analysis here, if you say, I want to learn another concept, so you learn another concept, just dig into another one and they're trying to find things for you. Okay? All language, Thai, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, name it. Okay? So I have a few others, but we spend and also this is the learning. This is actually called a question to learn. It's teach you how to ask deep reasoning questions. It's not answering your question, but teach you how to ask deep reasoning questions. Okay? In other words, the AI would say, I told the AI, says, don't answer stupid question, okay? Only when you think that the learner understands the scenario and ask deep reasoning questions is worthy your answer. Otherwise, don't even bother. Okay? So, I have a few others. Actually, let me see. There was quite a few. Let me see, where the others? So there was, where's the others? So this one actually teach how to write a prompt. Okay, so here, this very quick. So for example, this one here says, okay, if you want to ask a prompt, and this one says, okay, write a prompt, you tell me who you are. So this one actually almost first do an interview to you, and then decide what kind of task that you are expecting the AI to give it to you, and then AI going to construct the prompt for you to achieve what you want to do. Okay? All right, so my time is up.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor. Yeah, this is very real example of how AI can enhance learning. Very comprehensive and very impressive. Yeah, thank you very much. I think any question, maybe only one question, if you have. Okay. Okay. Yeah, please.
Somebody with a question.
Thank you, Professor, for your great presentation this morning and right now. I may miss some point, but what I was curious all about while I was hearing your presentation is where those data come from. So you format everything for everybody. You are saying that it's easy to format, and then I am getting to understand you are telling us that the important thing is that make an environment for you to learn. Okay, I understand that point, but where those data come from? When I see that you are typing history, and then the sub-major says ancient history, medieval history, all those things. And then when you click on ancient history, then there will be a sub-categories or all things that, but all those data, where those data come from?
You remember all those models with a billion parameters, they actually, if you really think about it, they're the digitization of civilization. Okay. They have knowledge. Okay. Now, of course, we have issues like hallucination. What happened to knowledge is not correct, right? So here's what in the first one that I talk about. So we always worry about the hallucination. You know, oh, what happened if they did not tell me the truth? But you know that we around people around us may not tell us the truth or think that whatever truth related to them is not to us. Does it bother you? No, as long as you do not ask for answer, right? So they come in there, because remember, they trying to drill you to ask you question, okay? If you have a system that answer your question wrong, that is bad. But ask you a wrong question, how much damage does it have to you? No. So in other words, the whole system is draw the knowledge from the model and ask you question to make you think.
Oh,
Okay.
I need to change my point of view because I thought that, well, I need to find an answer, but it's
no.
not something that it's just train you to ask things to learn
Exactly.
in your way,
You
right?
know the essence of Socratic method? Socratic method assumed the answer is buried in you. If the question is asked, you will get answered by yourself. Okay? So the whole system is making the system ask you question and make you think hard. So that actually help you to critical think, to creative and do other things, right? So that's like this. In other words, we want to avoid hallucination, not because it's an issue, because we do not ask for answer. As soon as we do not ask for answer, who cares about hallucination? Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Please join me to give a big hand to Professor Xiangen.